If you're wondering why there wasn't a Week in Weird episode last week and are thinking that maybe I got sick again, or maybe my microphone broke again and I had to give it a good smack, neither of those things are true. It's just that literally nothing happened. We had a week where nothing happened. And then to make up for it, this week something big had to happen because the Queen died. People reports that Queen Elizabeth died at her favorite castle. I hope one day I can die at my favorite castle. With Queen Elizabeth II's death, the new monarch is her son, King Charles. And quite humorously, now Britain's gonna have to change all of their money because it depicted a picture of the Queen on it. And now it'll have to show the King. I believe this is also true for Canadian money. Yeah, it looks like she's on some of their bills, at least their $20 bill. Well, that's fair, because Americans are also changing our $20 bill, so now we can all go through that together. Deaths like this really bring unity to the whole world. Speaking of uniting the entire world around one moment of solidarity, a man has paddled 38 miles down the Missouri River in an 846-pound pumpkin to claim a world record. That world record, of course, being longest journey by pumpkin boat. Oh my gourd. We've been through this. The bad puns are my job. A man in Nebraska just broke a Guinness World Record by rowing himself down the Missouri River in a hollowed-out pumpkin. The title is still under review. How could it be faked? Maybe he was like just short of the actual distance. Maybe it wasn't a real pumpkin. Maybe there's a conspiracy behind this. Dwayne Hansen paddled 38 miles in the pumpkin on Saturday to celebrate his 60th birthday. The 60-year-old can do this. Imagine what an in-shape, like, 19-year-old could do. Just gotta get a big enough pumpkin. Apparently, this journey took him 11 hours. The previous record was set in 2018, and the distance was 25.5 miles. So this guy smashed that record. That was not on purpose. This guy smashed that record by an additional 13 miles. I always love looking into the comments on these things. I'm gonna get the biggest oblong watermelon and take it down to St. Mary's River. Mine will look like a canoe. Ever since that big lottery a couple weeks ago, Google has decided it wants to push me notifications about every article anybody anywhere writes about the lottery. And as you can imagine, that's a pretty lucrative clickbaity title industry. But nothing quite beat this one from The Sun. I'm a Harvard statistician. I've worked out the only way to guarantee winning a Mega Millions lottery jackpot. So again, that was the headline, written September 6th, 2022, from The Sun, which is it's a real website that people have heard of. And if you click on the article and you look at this gentleman's his beautiful face, the first thing you'll read is a Harvard statistician did the math on a strategy that will result in lottery winnings. And if you scroll down, it says, with 300 million outcomes, the number of lottery combos may be high, but it's still limited. The only error-proof way to win is to buy a ticket for each and every outcome. That was his strategy. He did an interview for this. An article was written for this with a clickbaity headline. He then points out that if you aren't the only person to win the jackpot on that drawing, then you actually have to split it. Also, that there's like tax money that gets taken out of your winnings. So it's not even profitable. I only highlight this article to show that sometimes journalists can be bad, in case you didn't know that. And that's why the motto here is that the only news stories we believe are things that your buddy at work tells you when you're bored. Now, you might be able to tell from my explanation of how I came across that last story that my Google results are very tainted by the things that I'm usually looking up, and you might be able to tell from the stuff behind me that some of the things I'm searching revolve around Pokemon, which is why this article probably showed up in my news feed. Underage student uses Charizard Pokemon card to enter bars. Passes out after 4 beers. There was this webcomic that I saw years ago. Hold on, I gotta find this. Here we go, this is what I'm imagining. The bouncer says, I know a fake ID when I see one, and then it's a Charmander with a Charizard card. And it's a fake ID. Get it? Anyway, that's how my brain works. That's what popped into my head when I read that headline. So unfortunately, the police report did not state how he managed to use the card to enter. However, it's certainly possible that he used it to bribe a bouncer or bartender due to its value. The student also said he had only consumed 4 beers and had not taken any drugs. And he passed out at the bar from 4 beers. I don't even drink, but I know that that's not a lot. He refused to go to the hospital. No charges were laid. He frauded his way into a bar and they served him alcohol underage. How were there no charges? If I was the police, I would have at least checked his wallet, see if he had any Blastoise. Our final story of the day is not appropriate for the youngsters, so if you're a youngster, please turn off the video. Go back to playing Minecraft or whatever. Everyone's heard about this, everyone's talked about this already, but it's just mind-blowing. A streamer on Twitch, who only had about 200 followers, decided that it would be a good idea while she was live streaming to just start having sex. Now, I don't believe, I've not watched the video and I'm not going to, that anything was visible on stream, but it was certainly audible, and she was banned after the clip of it went around. Twitch said that it was a violation of their terms of service, which it is, and she was banned. And then she was unbanned. 7 days later, she got a 7-day slap on the wrist for quite literally having sex on stream. A lot of live stream sites obviously have big issues with this kind of thing. If you're doing a live TV broadcast, then your station is like registered with the FCC, right? Like if you're doing a live broadcast and somebody breaks a law, like somebody starts stripping or somebody starts cursing and it breaks guidelines, then the FCC can issue a fine to the network. There is a direct monetary line between them. If a random live streamer, especially one who's not part of an affiliate program with the live stream website that they're using, does something that's against terms of service or is illegal, then there's nothing that they can really do. They're not going to send you a bill. If you're live streaming on YouTube and you start doing something inappropriate, there's nothing that YouTube can do about it besides just taking it down and banning you. So that's why they try so hard. That's why they focus so hard on this kind of thing. They gotta clamp down on it as soon as it happens. They gotta have detection bots that are right there, just like that. And so because of that, Twitch, which is one of the biggest streaming services in the world, they spend a lot of time and energy just to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen. And so a lot of stuff comes up in the news all the time with some over-anxious bots and mods. People get banned that really shouldn't be banned just because they put one toe over the line. And then you end up with a story like this, where somebody broke the rules in literally the worst way possible, and their punishment is 1 week suspension. It's legitimately, like, pathetic. And with that, I'm done with my moral grandstanding, and we're both done with this video. The names you see scrolling by are, of course, my patrons, and if you would like to join them, there should be a link to the description, in the description, to my Patreon. While their names are scrolling by, I'm going to tell you about the movie I saw this week. It's called Barbarian. It's rated R. And this is one of those movies that really needed to be rated R, like an intense rated R. I would say that if you're a fan of horror movies, suspense movies, the kinds of small indie practical effect types of affairs, if you like those kind of movies, you should definitely see this, especially with a crowd on the big screen. If not, then, don't worry about it. But either way, if you're going to see this movie, go in knowing the least about it as possible. Don't look up a review, don't look up anything. Just it's good. Just go and see it. Don't even watch the trailer. The less you know going in, the better. It's really short, so it's not going to take a lot of time out of your day. Barbarian gets the GiBi seal of approval for what that's worth. And I'll see you next time on Week in Weird.